Welcome to the Key. This is mini lesson 23. Now last week we did 213 and 214 in the patrol guide, right? There's two new interim orders that affect 214. So today's lesson, I'm going to take those two interim orders, compare them to each other, and compare them to the existing order that they revoked, all right? You know, whether this is your first test or not, it's very important to know these two procedures. It's 214-29, derelict autos, 214-30, cars with plates expired longer than 2 months. We take the plates, how do we dispose of the car, do you road tow it, do you sanitation it, etc. They haven't changed in decades. So for decades, it was the desk officer that wrote the word derelict on a voucher. Now it's the UMOS. And for decades, it was the command clerk they called SPIS, right? Stolen Property Inquiry Section. It was the command clerk, now it's the cop. So like, even though you haven't studied the old one and that old rule is ingrained in your mind, you still need to know because that's where they're going to go to pull out a bad choice, all right? So here's what I did. First, 214-29 and 214-30, the newer versions, they're well written and they're almost exactly alike. When it comes to pulling the plates off, what document do you make out? What do you do with the document? Who do you notify? What do you put in your activity log, etc.? It's all the exact same. Slight little differences. So the first thing I do is break down 214-29, then break down 214-30, then put it together. Bang, bang, bang. They'll never fool you on any of those slight differences. And then a short list of pertinent changes that came from what it used to be like to what it is now. All right. And then there's a nice grouping of questions in there. So again, as always, but slight difference this time. When I say read the patrol guide, if you still have access to them, read the existing 214-29 and 30, then read the new interim order versions of them. Then come to the lesson, then do the questions, all right? And then next week we're going to start on juveniles. Oh, wait, one last thing. This is important. When we did 207, moving complaints, it seems like it's going to be off topic, but bear with me. Rape and sodomy would cause a moving complaint to move to another command. But only rape could ever be the top charge because sodomy is not a 7 major. If you remember that, if you don't, review it. Do you move this complaint to the command of occurrence away from the command of origination? There's only 3 times, homicide, rape, and sodomy, right? Rape and sodomy are together for that action. The other action, which is the top charge, rape could be, sodomy cannot. So they're together in deciding one action, they're separate. You've got the exact same thing, completely different topic, but listen closely. Now, if you can understand how a standard mindset can be applied to various other places, just changing out the details, it's going to advance your studies. And here's how it applies right now. You have a car. Do you voucher it is the first question. Do you road tow it is the second question. The answer to whether or not you voucher it, there's 2 times. Is it stolen? Is it evidence? Okay? So to answer the first question, voucher, stolen or evidence? Yes. Road tow? Evidence? Yes. You see what I mean? Don't get hypothetical. If it's stolen, do you road tow it? No. Stolen or evidence cause a voucher, but only evidence causes road tow. There's a box on the answer key. Maybe I shouldn't have told you that yet. You know, the more questions you get wrong now, the better it will serve you going forward because those are lessons learned that you won't forget, all right? You'll see the box on the answer key that I'm talking about, but understand when there's 2 things that cause particular action to occur, and the next step, only one of those 2 will cause that action to occur, you watch, they're going to plug that missing one, they're going to plug it in right there, and it'll be a very difficult question. Okay, enough said. Next week we'll start on juveniles.